Hey all, welcome to ShareTrek. This is Raj here. Hope you have been having a good week so far. Today I want to talk about Crispr Therapeutics as they have provided us the fourth quarter 2022 and full year guidance. Let's get started. Welcome back. Here are the key highlights, and we will drill down into what is relevant for us from the Crispr Therapeutics quarterly earnings report. The first one is regulatory submissions are complete for the Exa-Cel therapy in Europe for transfusion-dependent beta thalassemia, or as we call it, TDT, and for sickle cell disease, which is called SCD. Also, they have announced that the US Rolling Biologics Licensing Application, or BLA, is on track for completion by end of Q1 2023, and I think we are almost out there. So another major milestone is likely to be crossed. Apart from that, they have said that enrollment and dosing ongoing for CTX-110, which is their CD19 plus B-cell malignancies therapy, and CTX-130 targeting CD70 for the treatment of T-cell lymphomas. And they've also said that they're initiating phase 1 of the clinical trials for next generation CAR-T products, which is CTX-112 targeting CD19 plus B-cell malignancies and CTX-131 targeting CD70 plus solid tumors. Enrollment and dosing is ongoing in a phase 1 clinical trial of VCTX-210 for treatment of type 1 diabetes. I also call it as T1D. Let us look at the item of interest here, and that for me happens to be Exa-Cel for TDT and SCD. Exa-Cel submissions have been completed in Europe, and we might see the first approval coming from Europe potentially. Here is the published timeline for a therapy approval by EMA. I've taken this out to try to kind of roughly work out around what time we can get the European approval for this therapy. So if you look at the EMA schedule, they have the initial assessment and first list of questions which have to be completed by 120 days. And after that comes further assessment and list of outstanding issues by day 180. And after that, there is further consultation. So by around day 210, they are done with those 3 steps. And then they have final discussions and adoption of opinion. And during that process, if they think that there is a need for re-examination, they may do that. But after that, you have, once EMA has given its approval, EU, that is the European Union, takes around 6-7 days to give their approval. So we are looking at anywhere between 150 to 200 days for approval, 210 days for approval by EMA. And then it takes around 6-7 days for European Union to provide approval. I do not know at what stage we are with EMA, but we should have approval this year, in my opinion. Working forward from December 2022 as the first submission date to EMA, we reached June 2023 to July 2023 as likely time frame of receiving approval. This could be a major catalyst to the stock price. Soon after that, we can expect the FDA approval to come in. The rolling BLS, which FDA has allowed Crispr Therapeutics to do, has got a particular advantage over regular BLS submission because the company delivers completed portions of BLS as and when it gets done instead of waiting for everything to be complete. I think this provides an opportunity to validate previously submitted portions with every new submission, and I think that this will produce a superior BLS submission. This is just my conjecture. I don't have any experience of BLS submissions, but I'm thinking that probably this would be advantageous as compared to a big bang submission of everything being completed and then handed over to FDA. And well, if you remember the failure of Magenta, which we spoke about maybe 15 or 20 days ago in one of our videos, we can take heart that Crispr Therapeutics continues to advance its anti-CD117 antibody drug conjugate, or ADC as they call it. Its internal targeted conditioning program. In preclinical trials, it's showing decent results. This targeted preconditioning agent has the potential to significantly expand the patient population that can benefit from Exa-Cel because it will be a gentle conditioning. Out of all that I saw in the earnings, Exa-Cel is by far the most exciting, followed by CTX-110 that has entered into a potentially registrational clinical trial incorporating consolidation dosing. The phase 1 trial for CTX-110 demonstrated the potential for CTX-110 to achieve long-term durable complete remissions, also called as CRs, with a positively differentiated safety profile in heavily pre-treated patients. And emerging data from Part B showed an encouraging efficacy profile with the potential to improve the efficacy with the use of consolidation dosing. Another interesting information is around CTX-130. In a phase 1 trial in clear cell RCC, CTX-130 showed a tolerable safety profile with encouraging anti-tumor activity and a 77% disease control rate in heavily pretreated patients. Based on encouraging activity, the company is advancing its next generation CAR T cell candidate targeting CD70, and they have called it CTX-131. And they are advancing this into clinic this year following clearance of its IND application by FDA in February 2023, that is just earlier this month. The phase 1 clinical trial investigating safety and tolerability of VCTX-210 for the treatment of T1D, the first generation allogenic gene-edited stem cell derived product candidate, has completed dosing. The success of VCTX-210 has led to clearance of CTA for VCTX-211 for phase 1 clinical trial, as VCTX-210 awaits permission to go into the efficacy trials. Now, having looked at all those various therapies, let's go and have a quick look at the financials based on whatever they have said in the quarterly statement. The first point that came to my mind when I looked at the statement was that the cash position still looks good at 1.86 billion. R&D expenses came in more or less equal to the same quarter previous year at 103.6 million, but 120 million higher as compared to year-over-year statistics. Despite inflation, the company seems to have demonstrated cost control, as general and administrative expenses were just 3 million over the previous year at 102.5 million, which is an increase of just 3% year over year, considering that our inflation rate has been going at around 8 to 10%. However, net loss came in twice as much as 2021 at around 650 million. So that's a little bit concerning. Quarterly loss of 1.41 per share is the EPS versus a consensus estimate of a loss of $2.32. So that there the performance has been better. And also, if you compare to the loss a year ago of $1.84 per share, the current quarterly loss is looking much better compared to the same time in the previous quarter. So to summarize, when it comes to EPS, Crispr Therapeutics has outperformed the expectation as well as the previous year same period comparison. Let's take a look at their pipeline and then their price action. We are now looking at the pipeline section of Crispr Therapeutics, and Exa-Cel, we already spoke about Exa-Cel. This is already in clinical trial, and I'm expecting that probably before the end of this year, this will be monetized. Crispr Therapeutics will take off. And we have had excellent feedback about CTX-110 and CTX-130, and also progress in CTX-131. And VCTX-210 has done pretty well, and it's going into efficacy trials. And we have got VCTX-211 getting into clinical. So it's all looking good so far. And if you look at the breadth of the pipeline, it is pretty significant. And and if you take into consideration all the alliances that Crispr Therapeutics has accumulated, I think the pipeline area looks pretty good. Well, I would like to take us to have a quick look at a website that I refer to from time to time. It's called as simplywall.st, in other words, Simply Wall Street. And in that website, I see a lot of graphics which help me understand the financial position of the company much better. So first, I'll take you to the simplywall.st website, and then we'll go and have a look at the TradingView platform to see the price action on Crispr Therapeutics. So here we are in the website of simplywall.st. And the first graphic that I want to show you is the price to book ratio of Crispr Therapeutics versus peers. And this is where we have Crispr Therapeutics. It's 1.9x price to book as compared to its peer group. And it's pretty decent and healthy. And next, I would like to show you another graphic, which is share price versus fair value. So we have current price at 46.63 USD. as compared to fair value of 52.01 in this particular chart, showing a undervaluation of 10.4%. But if you look at the actual closing price today, for Crispr Therapeutics, it was $50.38. So I'm thinking that tomorrow we have an opportunity to go up a further $2 before we start consolidating and letting the RSI cool off. So that's what I am thinking will happen here. Next, let us look at analyst price targets. And as per this website, using analysis from 23 analysts, the consensus average is somewhere around $93.43 for this share in a 12-month forecast. Another graphic I would like to show you here is analyst future growth forecast. So it's expected that the annual earnings growth is forecasted to be 50.8% for Crispr Therapeutics as compared to 14.2% for the industry and the market in general. Whereas when it comes to forecasted annual revenue growth, the analysts are expecting 56.7% for Crispr Therapeutics as compared to 14.6% for industry and 6.9% for the market as a whole. Another interesting chart here is the financial position analysis chart, which shows that the short-term assets are 10 times more than the short-term liabilities, and the long-term assets are almost twice as much as the long-term liabilities. So overall, it's in a very healthy position. If you recollect, when I did the analysis on Ginkgo Bioworks yesterday, I think I was referring to ownership breakdown or ownership pattern. If you look at the ownership pattern here for Crispr Therapeutics, you'll find that 30.2%, that is this section out here, is held by general public. So that's a good portion out here. Institutions hold 68.3%, whereas insiders hold only 1.6%. So when ownership breakdown was checked for DNA, it turned out to be a weak point for Ginkgo Bioworks, whereas for Crispr Therapeutics, I think they are in a much better position. And also, the shareholders have not been diluted much in the past year. It's not been very meaningful, whereas in case of Ginkgo Bioworks, it was a very meaningful dilution. Next, now let us look at the price chart for Ginkgo Bioworks. As you can see, we have a diagonal line of support here for the previous bull channel, which has now been converted into a red line of resistance. We have to cross that if we want to go up. And at this point of time, you will see that as of yesterday, the price for Crispr Therapeutics shares went up by 8.04%, which is around $3.75, and the share ended up at 50.38. And it's been a very remarkable jump, and in the process, it converted one of the resistance at 47.93 into a support, and it pierced through one more resistance at 50.83 and another one at 52.13. I'm expecting at least a $2 gain today in Crispr Therapeutics share price as the momentum becomes above average and the MACD travels towards the signal line in an attempt to cross over and become bullish. So that's my expectations based on the quarterly earnings report that we have seen so far. Well, friends, that brings me to an end of this session. And I would like to just recollect how we felt when Bluebird was very close to getting Zynteglo approved and Skysona approved. I think it will be a much bigger deal for Crispr Therapeutics. The share price is also high, and it's going to keep on picking up. In my personal opinion, I think it's going to keep on picking up. And our window of opportunity to buy the share cheap is going to diminish as time goes by. That's my personal opinion. And I think that by around June or July, we'll start hearing information about commercialization of the sickle cell and TDT therapy, and also plans for getting payees roped in. So it will be very interesting time. So there is a lot of positive catalyst ahead for us. And I won't rule out getting some good information about the VCTX-210 efficacy trials from Canada somewhere in the fourth quarter of this year. So a lot of positive catalysts ahead. So I'm going to look forward to some opportunity to buy this share. I don't have the money at this point of time, but I'm going to keep a close watch and see if I can grab any shares. And if I can, I will definitely take some. And as I mentioned from the website, the analysts have got a price target of around $98.3, if I'm not mistaken. So somewhere around $93 to $98 is the target price. So there's around $30 upside on each share. So that's plenty of upside to go for this share. So with that, I think I'd like to bring this video to an end. I hope you could share with me what are your thoughts on Crispr Therapeutics. Do you have it in your portfolio, and what is your purchase price, and how do you feel about this? Are you planning to hold it, or are you planning to sell some calls? So please put it all in the comments below. Thanks and have a great day. I'll catch up with you again soon. Bye for now.